Hello, today we're going to look at portfolios as a documentation of your educational journey and how, as a learner, you can take control of the evidence of your learning. At the end of this presentation, you should be able to understand the role of portfolios in a learner's educational journey and to be able to design and develop your own personal portfolio using the various softwares that are available for designing e-portfolios. And we will then look in the third part on how to use Evernote to develop and deploy a portfolio. So, what is a portfolio? Basically, portfolios came out of the work of architects and artists who carried the evidence of their work in a briefcase or a folio where it had all the works that they had performed. So in today's context of education, basically a portfolio is a collection of a student's work that is purposely performed to provide evidence to any inspectors that a student has learned. And it consists of a bundle of evidence. And the student is involved in the selection of its contents, guided by the assessors with clear guidelines on the selection of the type of materials and the rubrics for which assessment will be done. So in the development of portfolio, it goes through various stages. First is the student collects all artifacts that pertains to their learning and the educational journey. This can be in the form of text, audio, video, and projects that they have created. Then is the selection of these artifacts for presentation. They will then review and evaluate these artifacts and identify those that demonstrate achievement, and not only achievement, I would go on to also say where there has been some failures from which learning has occurred. This is the reflective part of the portfolio development. Reflection is extremely important, where each of these artifacts would have annotations showing how the individual has learned from that artifact, either the creation of it or the evidence that it reflects. The next phase is to project, that is to compare the artifacts as against standards that is required as part of the framework of the assessors. Finally is to collect all this evidence and present this portfolio to share it with stakeholders. The drive for the development of a portfolio has been basically due to the fact that modern day education requires a student-centered learning. The dynamism of digital communication has made the creation and deployment of e-portfolios achievable, and the increased accountability in higher education to show that learning has occurred, and the fluidity in the employment and education market has all been important in pushing for portfolio. Today, the workplace requires strong evidence that the learner from higher education is fit for purpose. The evidence is very clear in the literature that portfolio is the most authentic and robust form of an evidence of learning of an individual, rather than solely relying on a summative form of assessment. So, e-portfolios provides an environment in which the learner can collect, select, reflect upon, build, and publish a digital archive of all their learning activities, accomplishments, failures, and indeed where deep learning has occurred. There are various types of portfolios. There is a developmental portfolio, which is basically a work in progress, which is a lifelong portfolio that can be used in work and in further education later in life. It can be an assessment portfolio as part of the regulatory framework of the higher education, or who requires their evidence of the learner is available for inspection, or it could be a showcase portfolio where great achievements of the learner are used as a form of exhibiting that learning has occurred. So what do portfolios do for healthcare educators is that it allows the learner for formative assessment and over an extended period of time, showing evidence that deep learning has occurred and it's changed behavior, and there is self-directed learning, and also shows evidence of lifelong learning, which is a requirement in healthcare. It also has a provision of evidence by reflecting upon the learning, and that is the key component of a portfolio, is the reflection. So portfolio is about collection of artifacts to show the evidence of learning. The artifacts that can be collected can be classified into three types. A topical collection of artifacts is based upon topics. Say somebody learns about procedures in cannulation, so it can be a topic based. Or temporal collection, showing that the individual has learned. Like for example, a surgeon may show initially an evidence of learning in a surgical procedure, and then over a period of time showing his improvement into a higher level of learning. This could be just merely in simple form an DOPS assessment, a direct observation of procedures that has been observed at one stage and then later augmented with a second assessment showing an improvement. In that itself, it shows that learning has occurred. The third type is the developmental collection of artifacts, and this is usefulness mainly in the form of communication between a teacher and student, showing how the student has developed as a learner over a period of time.